Sean is a freak. You see him do things that you don't really know how he does it. You know, the waves kind of come to him.
There's a lot going on. There's current and there's wind and there's swell. And there's waves crashing on the rocks. It's really, really fun.
Don't try to keep up with Sean Morley. It's nearly impossible. The world-class kayaker first gained attention in 2004 when he circumnavigated Ireland, the UK, and all of its inhabited islands. Sean paddled 4,500 miles in 6 months, setting a new record.
There was a day when I left an island called Barra. The fishermen were talking about large swell. The swell was enormous. It was at least 30 feet. Just towering walls of water coming towards me. So I'm paddling out through the biggest swell I'd ever seen in my life. I had no option. I couldn't turn back.
One person would have the endurance or the skill to make it, but you know, Sean has the seamanship and the judgment. He calculates his risks very well.
Next, Sean turns his attention to the remote wilderness of Vancouver Island by kayaking 700 miles for 17 days straight.
It was actually magical to spend 6 days not seeing anybody else on the water, landing on deserted beaches, and the only footprints were mine.
While Sean was quickly making headlines for his expeditions, most kayakers in the US, where he was now living, were unaware of what else he had accomplished in the sport. For 10 years, he was a member of the legendary British kayak racing team and then a world champion surf kayaker.
When Sean showed up at one of the races, nobody really knew who he was, and he shot off, like a rocket into the lead. The guy who had dominated our local races for years was shocked.
It's pretty cool.
And with California's big waves calling, it wasn't long before Sean was back in a surf kayak. Performing moves that would make pro surfers envious, Sean won the world-known Santa Cruz Paddle Festival in 2013.
You're trying to get as much speed as possible, trying to hit the lip, try and get airborne if you can, and you're really just tearing up the wave. You kind of know that you've surfed well when you come in and a board surfer comes up and says, "Wow, I saw you out there, that was really cool."
I can guarantee you he's the only, surf kayaking champion to have done also world record long distance paddling. It's very rare in the kayaking world to have somebody as accomplished in the various disciplines.
But even with all of his experience, Sean doesn't take anything for granted on the water.
Yeah, I've definitely had some close calls, some long swims for sure. You really need to understand what's going on out there.
Especially on the unpredictable San Francisco Bay, where Sean continues to push the sport even further with rock gardening, a high-charge blend of whitewater and sea kayaking.
You're basically going into this really dynamic zone where the waves are pounding the cliffs.
He pursues it like a real challenge. He'll look at something that you might think just is a shop of horrors. How are we going to paddle through this slot and surf over that rock and then into an arch that empties into another rock garden, and it's very long, complicated sequence, kind of like a whitewater rapid.
Most of the time you need very good skills to get into that environment.
That's why Sean has shifted his focus nowadays to teaching. He wants others to experience the ocean like he has.
It was an obvious sort of decision to start teaching kayaking professionally, introducing as many people as I can to the beauty of the ocean. Once you leave the shore, you just get a different perspective on the world.
It's an addictive feeling, and the reason why Sean's thoughts never leave the water for long.
And I'm always looking at it and thinking, dreaming of my next expedition. Definitely have some ideas. It's a passion, it's a lifelong passion.